In the history of the Second World War, there are many names that appear in textbooks, museums, and memorials. But there are also people whose actions were just as extraordinary, and yet remained largely unknown outside their own countries for decades. One of those people was Irena Sendler, a Polish social worker who became involved in an underground effort to rescue Jewish children during the Nazi occupation of Poland, particularly from the Warsaw Ghetto, which was the largest ghetto established by Nazi Germany in occupied Europe. Irena Sendler was born Irena Krzyżanowska on February 15, 1910, in Otwoc, a town near Warsaw, Poland. Her early life was shaped by the values of her father, Dr. Stanisław Krzyżanowski, who worked as a physician and treated poor patients, including Jewish patients, at a time when prejudice and social divisions were already present in many parts of society. In 1917, when Irena was still a child, her father died after contracting typhus from one of his patients. After his death, members of the Jewish community offered help to the family, which her mother declined. In the years that followed, Irena studied in Warsaw and moved towards social work. During her university years, she openly opposed anti-Semitic discrimination, including segregation policies that separated Jewish students from others. By 1935, she was employed by the Department of Social Welfare and Public Health of the city of Warsaw, the same position that would later give her access to the most dangerous place in the city. Germany invaded Poland in September 1939. Warsaw became a city under occupation, where rules changed quickly and violently. In October 1940, Nazi authorities established what would become the largest ghetto in Europe, the Warsaw Ghetto. It was sealed in mid-November 1940. The numbers are important because they explain the scale of desperation. At its height, the Warsaw Ghetto held over 400,000 Jews. The Holocaust Encyclopedia notes that nearly 30% of Warsaw's population was crammed into roughly 2.4% of the city's area. Overcrowding was not an accident. It was policy. Starvation was not a side effect. It was strategy. German authorities imposed food rations that were catastrophically low. By August 1941, mortality inside the ghetto reached devastating levels. Outside the ghetto wall, Warsaw continued. Trams ran, shops opened. People survived as best they could. But on the other side, a world was being pushed toward extinction. Irena Sendler's position in Warsaw's social welfare system became crucial. Because social workers and health workers could sometimes obtain passes for sanitary reasons, and the ghetto, overcrowded and diseased, was always being described as a health risk. Sendler used that access to provide assistance to Jews inside the ghetto. This included support such as food, medicine, and help through social welfare channels. Over time, her work became more focused on rescuing children. The most urgent period began in summer 1942, when mass deportations from the Warsaw Ghetto began. The ghetto stopped being a prison. It became a waiting room for death. From 22nd July to 21st September 1942, German Nazi forces carried out mass deportations from the ghetto to the Treblinka killing center. During this period, about 265,000 Jews were deported from Warsaw to Treblinka. Around 35,000 were killed inside the ghetto during the same operation. By late 1942, it became clear that the ghetto was not simply a holding area. It was part of a system designed to destroy the Jewish population. This period increased the urgency of rescue efforts, especially for children. Irena Sendler became closely involved with Żegota, also known as the Council for Aid to Jews. Żegota operated as part of the Polish underground and worked to support Jews in hiding. Żegota operated from December 4, 1942 to January 1945, and it was supported by the Polish government in exile. Żegota's work included arranging forged documents, providing financial support, and creating networks of safe hiding places. Sendler operated under the codename Jolanta. She helped smuggle Jewish children out of the Warsaw Ghetto, arranged hiding places, and created new identities for them. For many children, she became the difference between disappearance and life. In fall 1943, she was appointed head of Żegota's children's section. Smuggling children out of the Warsaw Ghetto was extremely dangerous and required careful planning. The methods depended on the child's age, the security situation, and the available opportunities. Children were taken out using different approaches. Some were moved out in vehicles such as ambulances or other transport linked to health services. Some were hidden in boxes, packages, or other concealed spaces. After leaving the ghetto, the next challenge was keeping the child alive and hidden long-term. Each child needed a new identity, and often a non-Jewish name. They also needed forged papers and a cover story that they could remember and repeat. Children were placed in different types of hiding situations. Some were sheltered by Polish families, some were placed in orphanages, some were sheltered in convents or religious institutions. Any person hiding a Jewish child was risking severe punishment, including execution. Even after a successful rescue, the child's safety could never be guaranteed. One of the most important details of Sendler's work was that she kept records of the children's real identities and their new identities. These records were kept in coded form. The purpose was to allow surviving relatives to locate children after the war. This was extremely risky. If the Gestapo, Nazi Germany's secret police, found these records, it could lead to the discovery of children in hiding and the destruction of the rescue network. In October 1943, Irena Sendler was arrested by the Gestapo. She was imprisoned in Pawiak prison, which was one of the most notorious prisons in German-occupied Warsaw. Pawiak was used for interrogation, torture, and executions, and many prisoners were also sent from there to concentration camps. During interrogation, Sendler was tortured. They broke her body, but they didn't break her silence. She did not reveal the names of the children or the locations of those hiding them. This was critical because revealing that information could have led to the deaths of many children and the families protecting them. After her arrest, Sendler was sentenced to death. However, she did not die. The members of the underground network were able to bribe a German official, which led to her escape. After escaping, she returned to underground life and continued working under dangerous conditions. She remained in hiding for the rest of the occupation period until the end of World War II. When the war ended, many of the children who had been rescued had no families to return to. The deportations of 1942 had killed a large part of the Warsaw Jewish population. Many parents had been murdered at Treblinka or had died in other parts of the Holocaust. Sendler's records became important in post-war efforts to reconnect children with surviving relatives. However, post-war reunions were not always possible. Many children were orphaned. In many cases, families had been entirely destroyed. Some children remained with the people who had hidden them. Some entered institutions. In this way, survival carried its own consequences. Irena Sendler is widely associated with helping rescue around 2,500 Jewish children. It is important to understand that this was not a one-person operation. Rescue depended on a wider network of people who forged documents, hid children, transported them, and provided long-term care. However, Sendler's role was central because she helped organize the children's rescue system and maintain the records needed for future identification. For many years after the war, Irena Sendler's story was not widely known outside Poland. Her story gained major international attention through research carried out by American students in the United States in 1999, which helped introduce her life to global audiences. In Poland, she received one of the country's highest honors, the Order of the White Eagle, which is widely noted as being awarded to her in 2003. Irena Sendler died in Warsaw on May 12, 2008, but the lives she helped save did not end with her. Her legacy remains one of the most significant examples of rescue work carried out in occupied Europe during the Holocaust. Her life is a reminder that even in an era defined by mass destruction, there were individuals and networks who chose to preserve life, quietly, methodically, and at immense personal risk. You have been watching the Life Casebook. Thank you so much, and have a great, great day.